Started Zion. Lamed Bey Zion. V'yeshuva malochim el Yaakov lemor. He had sent angels, and Rashi had explained, angels over here does not mean, malochim does not mean mortal agents, but rather means spiritual angels. So we explained the name of the Or Chaim HaKodesh. Why did he send angels? So for two reasons. If he would have said mortal agents, what would have been if Esav would have killed them and not realizing that the agents were killed? Before he turns around, suddenly Esav's upon him. Angels were able to go back almost instantaneously back and forth and bring back the evaluation. Secondly, we had spoken about the level of guile and deception of Esav, that it was impossible to make an evaluation of where he really was at. He was able to exude such warmth and love and such presence of relationship, it was impossible to detect what he had in his heart. The only ones who were able to make this evaluation were only angels. And they come back and they say, Bonu Elochicha el Esav. We've come to your brother Esav. If you remember, when originally it sent the angels, it says he sent Malochim el Esav Ochiv. To Esav, his brother. Here, the order's inverted. They come back and say, we came el Ochicha el Esav. Ochicha Esav. Your brother Esav, the order's inverted. Shoyisa Omer Ochihu. And originally he said, Esav's your brother. You're mistaken. Avalu Noagim Chokesav Arosha. Reality-wise, his relationship with you is as Esav, the evil one. Odenu sin also. He's still harboring that same level of hate. Meaning, he's just waiting to kill you. So that's why the order is inverted. Originally it says, Esav, my brother. Who's my Esav? My brother. They said, no, your evaluation is incorrect. Now, why did Yaakov originally refer to him as Esav Ochiv? Because he thought after so many years, more than 34 years have passed, the hate somehow dissipated to some degree. Maybe he forgot. They come back and said it hasn't been diminished as much in iota. He's Ochicha Esav, your brother, but he's the same Esav. Going back more than 34 years ago. As then he wanted to kill you, he still wants to kill you. What's proof of that reality? Because when he's coming with 400 men. He's not coming himself. As we said, the Torah makes it a point, 400, to indicate that, as the Rabbeinu Bachyu says, Ayin Ra is 400. He's coming with that evil eye. And so we explained that although Yaakov had said, Im Lovan Garti, Shamarti, that I've upheld the 613 precepts, and I did not learn from his evil ways, nevertheless, he was trying to find some weak point. So we had mentioned, why Ayin Ra? Why does that somehow cause harm to a person? Before the person receives the evil eye, he's in safe haven. Once somebody gives him the evil eye, then he's compromised. Why? And we quoted the Gemara. The Gemara says that Rav had said that 99% in the cemetery, they died of Ayin Hora. So we said everybody died, whether it's disease, accident, or whatever it was, or he was killed. So we had explained that under normal circumstances, nobody's record is perfect, far from perfect. But there's such a thing as Midas Arachmim. When a person receives the evil eye, what does it do? It activates Midas Adin. It activates the attribute of justice. Once there's an attribute of justice, nobody's perfect enough not to be harmed. Once the prosecution takes place. Esav, having that extreme level of evil eye, he wanted to find some fault in Yaakov's spiritual record And as a result of that, he'd be compromised. Right now, he has Midas Arachmim. Nobody's perfect, and Esav knows nobody's perfect. And everybody merits the attribute of mercy. But having this level of disdain and hate for him, and Torah says he's coming with 400 men with the full brunt of Ayin Ra, somehow it will activate some level of prosecution, and nobody's perfect, and then Yaakov will be able to be compromised, they'll be able to kill Yaakov. And that's why the Torah brings out about 400 men. Okay? Now, there's a Maral that we once mentioned that when Avram Avinu went to battle, Lot was taken captive. He went to battle with the four mightiest kings. And they intentionally had taken Lot captive because they knew Avram Avinu, they didn't understand who he was this fanatic. He does fanatical things. They knew he had gone into the kiln, whatever happened. And he does so by taking Lot captive and Avram being committed to him, he single-handedly, or with a small band of men, he's going to go to war against them. And hopefully, they would kill him once he's in battle with them. So as we said, little did they know, but they didn't understand who Avram Avinu's backer was. Avram is the Ivri, and the only time Avram is referred to as Ivri is that going to battle against the four kings. And Ivri is what? Hu me'ever echad, chol olam me'ever hasheni. The Torah makes it known at that point they're going to battle with the man who's taking on the world single-handedly. At that moment. Why? Because Avram Avinu had a backer that nobody had. When Hashem backs you, you take on the world single-handedly. That's where Avram was coming from. So the Maral makes it a point, what is the number 4? The number 4, if a person is surrounded on 3 sides, you have a route of escape. If you're surrounded on all 4 sides, what does that mean? That's called total opposition. You're totally opposed. The 4 kings going against Avram Avinu and taking Lot captive, that means he's totally opposed. Existence, whatever existence is, they cannot tolerate. He's totally opposed. That's number 4. Total opposition is 4. As a result of that, Esav is coming with 400 men. Now go over Rabbi Bachya, evil eye. What does 400 men represent? That means Esav will not tolerate the existence of Yaakov. That's why the Torah is making a point. He's coming with 400 men. The level of opposition is total opposition. That's why the Torah is revealing the number 400, and therefore he has to appreciate and understand the seriousness of the moment. That's the 400. But they both interpretations could coexist, meaning since they had such disdain and such hate for him, therefore they came with the full brunt of everything. They cannot tolerate Yaakov's existence, and they're backing Esav's position. This is Esav Son Yaakov at the most pronounced level. Esav Son Yaakov. So when Yaakov hears this, what does he do? He hears it Vayiro, Yaakov mode. He's very frightened. Vayiro Yaakov mode. Vayetzelo. And he's pained. I mean, if you say he's frightened, we could imagine, knowing he could be killed. So what does Torah tell me? Vayetzelo, that he's pained. So Rashi, famous Rashi, Vayiro Yaakov Shema Yehoreg. He was concerned he may be killed. Vayetzelo, im yarog hu asacherim. 2 things. He was first concerned he may be killed. That's the fear. And he was pained that even if he's not killed, he may kill them. He may kill others. We have a principle, Habola Horka Hashkim Horgo. Person, God forbid, rises to kill you. There's a law of self-defense. You're obligated to kill your opponent. So that you're fearful, and overwhelmingly fearful, because you may be killed, that's understandable. That's Shema Yehorig. But what's Vayetzel? But he's pained, he may have to kill the others. What is the basis of that pain? Now we find, maybe, that Avram Avinu, after he went to battle and defeated the 4 kings, the Torah says, Hashem comes to Avram, he says, Al tira Avram. Schor chavi mode. Avram, don't be fearful. Your reward is great. So Rashi over there cites Chazal. What was the fear? To be able to bring back such a level of victory, the miracles that were needed were overwhelming. I mean, how does a handful of people defeat the four mightiest kings? So he was concerned that firstly, maybe he depleted his merits and all his levels of accomplishment versus the world to come, they were all depleted. Because one doesn't merit a miracle just on an ordinary level. So there's a cost factor. That's Vayira. Also, he was concerned that among the people he had killed, maybe some of them were tzaddikim. They had special value, and he killed those people. Therefore, that was Vayira. And therefore, Hashem says, Al Tir Avram, you have nothing to be concerned about. What you did was, there were no tzaddikim, and you don't have to be concerned that your merits have been depleted. Not only haven't been depleted, that because you removed the world of such evil people, schor charabi meod. Not only is not a withdrawal, you have added reward. That's over there. So Yaakov understood this group that's coming against them, there are no tzaddikim among them. There's no question. Esav's coming with 400 men. Every one of these people represent exactly what Esav is. So what's the concern? The concern is the other concern. Maybe to be able to be victorious against Esav, and especially Esav has the merit of Kibbutz, he honored his father all these years that he wasn't there, it's going to cost him dearly. So if he kills them, Shema Yarog Huas Acherim, he may kill others. And if he kills others, the cost factor is enormous. And therefore he's going to be depleted. That's the simple understanding way I would explain it. That's Shema Yarok, that's Yetzalo. He was pained. The pain was knowing what it may cost him. Or we could say, as we said in the past, Yaakov Avinu, why did he not kill Eliphaz? Eliphaz, the son of Esav, pursued Yaakov when he fled, and Yaakov had tremendous wealth. Eliphaz says to Yaakov, I must kill you. My father commanded me, I must kill you. Mitzvah of Kibbutz. So Yaakov has this tremendous wealth, and he says to Eliphaz, but you learned from your grandfather, Oni Choshev Kemes, a poor man is like a dead man. Take all my wealth, and therefore we've reconciled the problem. So my question was, Eliphaz is an attacker. He's a rodef. And there's a law of self-defense. Yaakov should have killed Eliphaz. Why did Yaakov relinquish all his wealth? And as a result of that, look what happened. He's stranded and stuck with Lavan. He has to work 14 years, or minimally 7 years for a wife. Coming without any wealth, Lavan is not giving up a daughter unless you give minimally a pound of flesh. So if that's the case, well, he should have killed Eliphaz. That's the question we asked. So you could say maybe that Eliphaz was stronger than he was. Or maybe there was a question in his mind, even though you may be able to kill Eliphaz, but he may kill you. So rather than getting involved in a questionable situation, just give me your wealth, you guarantee your existence, and move on, regardless of what it's going to cost you. So we had said then, there was no question. Yaakov definitely was able to kill Eliphaz, without a question. How do we know that Yaakov had the strength and the ability to kill Eliphaz? So we'd explained, the Torah itself doesn't share with us information unless the information is pertinent information for us to know something, which has some value of understanding of Yaakov, or of any of the Avos, any of them, any of the patriarchs. The Torah tells us the story when Yaakov had come, there were three flocks around a water well or cistern, and it was covered with a boulder. And he said to them, what are you doing? What are you waiting here? Why don't you graze your flocks? So they said to him, because there's this very large stone, and waiting for other shepherds to come, and jointly we're going to roll off this boulder. We can't do it ourselves. All of a sudden, Yaakov sees Rachel coming with her father's flocks, and Yaakov goes and takes the boulder. He plucks it right off, takes it off. Why is the Torah sharing that piece of information with us? So Rashi over there cites the Midrash. What is the Torah telling us? Mikan shekochel godol. For here we see how powerful Yaakov was, that he was able to just take the boulder and just pluck it off. That showed his physical strength. Why is the Torah telling us? You know, Jay, when he goes to the gym, he can press 600 pounds. Like a cinch. What value does that have to me? Tell me how much he knows in Torah, it's one thing. How much he can press in the gym, it has no relevance to me. Jay, you're supposed to smile. Okay? So why is the Torah tell Yaakov is Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Olim? He's the man who personifies Torah. Torah is telling us that he can pluck. From here, we see how strong he was. The value of that information is he could have killed Eliphaz. So if he could have killed Eliphaz, rather than relinquishing his wealth and being stranded with Lavan all these years, 14 years for wives and 6 years to create wealth, he had the wealth. Kill Eliphaz, and you're justified and you're guaranteed you're going to walk away alive, no problem. So what we had said was that Yaakov Avinu understood, as a result of the stones that he put under his head, the 12 stones, and they fused together, that he was destined to be the father of Klal Yisrael, the 12 tribes. If he himself kills Eliphaz, a person, before he kills and after he kills, even if it's justified to kill, you're a different person. There's a level of diminishment in yourself. And Yaakov understood that. As a result of that, if there's a way for him to extricate himself from this confrontation by giving away his wealth, he would be preferred to give away the wealth, and whatever is meant to be down the pike, whatever way he has to deal with this Lavan, it's a less of a problem than killing Eliphaz. Because the effect, the diminishment of his own spirituality would ultimately impact and diminish the potential of the Jewish people, because the dimension of spirituality of the tribes was dependent on his own level of spirituality. So if his own spirituality would be lessened, then the Shvat, his children, would be less capacity. Therefore, so over here, Yaakov Avinu still has one other child, which Binyamin wasn't born yet. Even though Rachel at this moment was pregnant with Binyamin. She was pregnant with him. But nevertheless, but still he has to raise his children. He has what to do. So any level of diminishment that he has, since he's responsible to mentor his children, to raise them, and to guide them, that act of killing others would actually diminish him. That's Vayetzelo. He was pained. Firstly, he was frightened he may be killed. But he was pained. Shemi Yehorig Acherim, maybe kill others, because if he kills others and does that act, he's a less of a person, and he will not be the ultimate effective patriarch, that is his level of responsibility.